Today's episode, I really want to talk to you about narcissism and celebrities. I have worked with a number of celebrities now, of which I cannot name because of NDAs that I have signed. But we tend to think of celebrities as invincible up until we see something bad that has happened. And I've worked with celebrities who have been in relationships with narcissists. So they are either the celebrity and they're in a relationship with somebody else, but because they're celebrity and all eyes on them, they feel like they have to portray themselves a certain way, and they are seen as these strong men and women, so they're unable to show any vulnerability. Equally, I've also worked with a number of people whose partners or ex-partners are celebrities as well. And the problem that many of these people have found that I have worked with is the public love the other person. They really love this person that the people I have worked with knows that they are a narcissist. And we've looked at the behavior too. But as we know, particularly covert narcissists, they will portray themselves one way to the public, and it's very different behind closed doors. And it was actually really interesting because I was having a conversation with my son about this a few days ago. And we were talking about celebrities and money and narcissism. And, my son kind of started to attribute money with happiness, that, well, gosh, if they're earning all of that money, even if they're in a narcissistic relationship, then they should be happy and they can just leave and go. And I had this conversation with him that, money, celebritydom, all of these things, we're still all human beings at the end of the day, regardless of what we earn, regardless of what we do. We're still human beings at the core of all of that, with feelings, with past experiences, with hopes, with dreams, wanting to be loved, wanting to be in healthy relationships. And the problem being is if you're a celebrity and you end up, or you have been with a celebrity and you're in the public eye, everybody's eyes are on you. And there is so much judgment in all of that. Sometimes when I read things online, some of you may watch things like Love is Blind or Love Island, for instance. And whilst, would we classify these as celebrities? Probably not at that particular stage when they go on there. But afterwards, they're thrust into the public eye and they're all over social media. They get trolled, they get picked on, Of course, they will have positive things as well, but it can be a brutal place out there as well. Now, you imagine if you're in a relationship with somebody and it's very public, that relationship, whether, you are the celebrity in that relationship or vice versa, you're in the relationship and your partner's the celebrity. There's a lot of press. There's a lot of paparazzi. There's a lot of eyes on your relationship. And this makes it very, very difficult for you to come out and say anything. Not only are these things private, but what do you say? What do you say if you suddenly come out? Let's say you're this big, big celebrity, for instance, and you've been in a marriage for 10 or 15 years. And then all of a sudden you're coming out saying you've been in an abusive relationship. You've been in a narcissistic relationship. People will judge you. They'll think, well, why didn't you leave then? It can't have been that bad because you stayed for X amount of years. And this is the problem when we talk about not just narcissistic abuse, but domestic abuse too, where society can be very, very judgmental. If it's that bad, why haven't you left? And this makes it really, really challenging then, because if you're in an abusive relationship and maybe you tell your small circle of friends even, they may say things to you like, well, if it's that bad, just leave, or they don't seem that bad. And then if you actually stay in that relationship, if you've shared maybe some of the things that they've done, then they might start to think, well, it can't be that bad then because they're still in that relationship. What people don't understand is trauma. People aren't trauma informed. And one of my big missions in this world is to make as many people as possible trauma informed. And when I've worked with some of these celebrities and they've broken down in sessions with me, because they don't know how to show the public their sense of vulnerability, because the public, we built them up to be something else. And that doesn't mean that they've not shown elements of themselves. Absolutely. Because I'm sure like me, we connect with, the celebrities that show themselves the most, right? But it's polarizing. We like heroes and villains. And, when I've worked with some of these celebrities and the people who've been in relationships with celebrities too, there's this air of, because they're in the public eye, well, they're up for their fodder. They're out there. We can pick on them and that too. And why should we? I feel really strongly about being kind and not judgmental. I don't know, because I haven't walked in their shoes and lived their shoes, just like you, when people judge you about being in a narcissistic relationship. I haven't walked your shoes. You haven't walked mine. We haven't walked that celebrity, the film star, the actress, the actor. We haven't walked their shoes, the pop singer, the reality star. We haven't been in their shoes, not just from when they have become famous, but from birth, from in vitro. We don't know what their parents were like. We don't know if they had an alcoholic father or mother. We don't know if they were beaten or neglected. We don't know if they had an unemotional father who showed no praise or love. All of these to a child would be really traumatic experiences, because that child would always think it's a reflection of them. This is why we do see so many celebrities then looking at alcohol, looking at drugs, because they end up being in these relationships or not relationships, feeling alone, feeling unseen, feeling unheard, all our attachment wounds. And that hurts. That to them is like a lion chasing them out in the African plains. It triggers, literally, it's like picking the scab off their core wounds of not feeling lovable enough or important enough or worthy or enough in any relationship as such. Just for being me clearly isn't good enough. I might have all of this money, and in that moment I might feel good, but actually at the core of it all, do they feel worthy? Do they feel good enough? And then that's why they go and seek out drugs or alcohol or extreme measures, because what they're trying to do is numb out those core wounds of worthlessness. When we talk about addicts, for instance, and we see this in the public eye, people again will be so judgmental. Well, we don't know what their childhood was like. We don't know what type of relationship that they were in. We don't know any of that, but we're very, very quick to judge all of that too. Just like you, it's so frustrating if you feel like people are judging you when they don't even know you. They don't know your experiences. They haven't lived in your shoes. And when we talk about addictions are never about a substance. If you work with, let's say there was a celebrity that's gone into rehab, and in rehab, let's say they're addicted to cocaine. Okay. That celebrity goes into rehab to work on the addiction with cocaine. Now, we can stop the addiction because we can just make the celebrity go cold turkey. The problem being is, and this is when I love using internal family systems in the work that I do, which is an evidence-based parts therapy. If that celebrity suddenly is cut off with the drugs that they were using to numb out a core emotional wound, it doesn't mean the core emotional wound isn't hurting, isn't bleeding, so to speak. They will find another part of them to soothe, distract, and minimize that core wound. So it could be self-harm. It could be suicide ideation. It could be emotional eating, over-exercise. So again, when I'm working with my clients, whether they're celebrities or not, and we know there are these addictions that are there, we don't just want to stop those. Like with eating disorders, we don't just want to stop them, because if we stop that part of a person, another part will come up, another protector part, and it could be an even more destructive part too. So we have to always still work with the parts of the behaviors that are showing up, but we also want to get to the root cause of this too. You imagine a celebrity who's earning all of this money, being adored by maybe within the industry, yet they're in this relationship where they're being abused and they are feeling vulnerable. They're feeling unloved. But how do they go out and say to the world, I feel unloved? I don't feel like I matter? Because people would be like, oh my God, you're earning millions, or you are doing all of this. You're in films, you're a pop star. And that's what silences people. And actually, I've worked with a small amount of celebrities. I hazard a guess there are hundreds, if not thousands more out there that feel like they can't come forward, that feel so vulnerable. That's why I'm always very, very private about who I work with, and I don't share, because I also know this is private stuff for them. And ultimately, If they're ever ready to share, that is their prerogative to do so. But when I'm in session and I'm working with them on a one-to-one basis in our therapy sessions, I want them to feel seen and heard, and I want them to know that they're good enough just for who they are and that they matter. It doesn't matter what they earn. It doesn't matter who they are. They are still a human being with a heart, with a soul, and they still want to be loved, just like you, just like me. So really, the reason I wanted to share this podcast about celebrities is, let me tell you, there are many celebrities out there that you don't even know that are also suffering from narcissistic abuse. That is why I'm so vocal about all of this. I get messages regularly on Instagram from celebrities who are following my account. I've worked with a number of celebrities as well, and also partners of celebrities. I've actually worked with 3 people now that all had the same partner. Okay. Interestingly enough, this person is revered publicly. Everyone loves him. Okay. It's just very, very interesting dynamic to see. Now, I see things and I can kind of clock things as well. How do people come out if people are so loved? It makes it very, very challenging. And I just wanted to highlight for you that sometimes we feel like if we're not a celebrity or we don't have oodles of money, so to speak, that in some way your experience is less than somebody else's, or that you are, I used to use this phrase, so stupid that it happened to you. Let me tell you, I have worked with doctors. I have worked with high-level entrepreneurs. I have worked with celebrities. I have worked with partners of celebrities. I have worked with a politician. I have worked with many, many people that you wouldn't even imagine are in narcissistically abusive relationships. Because like you, like me, we go outside that front door, we slap a bit of makeup on, we try and look presentable, and we do the old, I'm fine. So no, you are not on your own. There are many people across this globe, from literally politicians, pop stars, actors, you name it, everybody. Narcissistic abuse is not discerning with your culture, with your race, with your religion, with your celebrity, with your family dynamic, with where you live, what country you are from. There are narcissists all over the world. But remember, it doesn't have to be a life sentence. We can unpick this. Think of it like a ball of wool. We can start to pull some of the threads. We can start to process past trauma. We can start to work on yourself. We can create exit strategies. I've even worked with, on some occasions, the PR element of people when they have narcissistic relationships as well. So just know that you're not on your own in any of this. There are many people that you may not know about that are also suffering at the hands of a narcissist. And it's not because you are stupid. It's because actually you are a super duper nice person and the kindest, most loveliest person in the world, because that's who narcissists are attracted to. But what we want to do is help you live an amazing life. We want you to step into post-traumatic growth, which you can have after narcissistic abuse. And remember, post-traumatic growth is actually finding meaning in your trauma. The narcissist is your alarm clock to wake you up to what is important and to work on the root cause that is already there anyway. So I hope that helps. Remember, doesn't matter who we are, we heal together. Let's be kind together. Let's educate together. And let's see how much we can keep narcissistic abuse, narcissism in the spotlight, so people realize doesn't matter who you are, you can heal from narcissistic abuse, and it doesn't have to be a life sentence. So take care, my friends. Sending you lots of love. Whoever you are, whether you are listening in right now and you can relate to any of this, you know where my inbox is, hello@carolinestrawson.com. You know where you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. Come over and find me. Let me help and support you, whatever that looks like. Don't be alone. You're not. I'm right here by your side. Take care, my friends, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Narcissistic Abuse and Trauma Recovery podcast. Make sure that you come and follow me over on Instagram. Come and join my free and private Facebook group, Narcissistic Abuse and Trauma Recovery for Women, or drop me an email at hello@carolinestrawson.com. But please know, you are not alone in any of this, and you can move from surviving to thriving after the trauma
of narcissistic abuse.